everybody, and welcome to STEM Adventures. We are doing another fairy tale STEM today. We did the other two. They were so much fun, so we thought we would do one more. This is not a princess story. This is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. But our Imagine Your Story for summer reading, it's fairy tales, folk tales, fables, fantasy, all those things. And Goldilocks and the Three Bears does fall into that very broad category. So this one also is by Jasmine Brooke, just like the other two, and is part of the Fairy Tale Fixers series, which is fixing fairy tale problems with STEM. So we are going to read about Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and then we are going to do a math, math project that goes along with this. Can't see it. Once upon a time, in a house in a forest, lived three bears. In this family of bears was a great big father bear, a medium-sized mother bear, and a tiny baby bear. Every day, the bear family ate a breakfast of delicious creamy porridge. One morning, as they sat down to their breakfast, they found that their porridge was too hot to eat. So the bears decided to go for a walk in the forest while their breakfast cooled. On this very same morning, a little girl named Goldilocks was also walking through the forest. As she came to a clearing, she saw a pretty cottage, the bear's cottage. Goldilocks knocked on the cottage door, but there was no answer. She looked through the window, but could see no one inside. Curious, she gently opened the door to the cottage and called out, "Hello, is anyone home?" Again, there was no reply, so Goldilocks pushed open the door and went inside. As Goldilocks stepped into the cottage, she saw a table with 3 chairs, one large chair, one medium-sized chair, and one small chair. Then Goldilocks saw on the table 3 bowls of porridge, one large bowl, one medium-sized bowl, and one small bowl. Each had a spoon. Porridge, Goldilocks sighed, my favorite. Goldilocks was very hungry, and the porridge looked so good, she simply could not resist. First, she sat at the great big chair, picked up the large spoon, and tried some of the porridge from the big bowl. But the chair was very big and very hard. The spoon was very heavy, too. And ouch, cried Goldilocks as she put a spoonful of porridge in her mouth. It was far too hot. Next, Goldilocks tried the medium-sized chair, but this chair was far too soft. Then she tried the porridge from the medium-sized bowl. Awful, cried Goldilocks as she tasted a spoonful of the porridge. It was far too cold. Sighing, Goldilocks sat down on the tiny chair. It was just right. Then she decided to try the last bowl of porridge, the smallest bowl. She picked up the little spoon, took a scoop of porridge, and said, "Delicious!" Goldilocks whispered as she ate the creamy breakfast. "This porridge is not too hot and not too cold. It is just right." And she ate it all up. Now, we are not going to do this experiment. It says test temperature. Father Bear's porridge would have been just right, too, if Goldilocks had used her STEM skills to cool it down. Unfortunately, we are not doing this one, so we're moving on. Satisfied and full of porridge, Goldilocks leaned back in the tiny chair, but Goldilocks was too big and heavy for it. Crack! The delicate chair broke into pieces and collapsed beneath her. "Goodness!" Goldilocks cried as she fell to the ground, surrounded by the shattered chair. Another experiment that we are not doing, build a stole. Imagine how different the story might have been if Goldilocks had been an engineer. So we are not doing this one either. Brushing the chair splinters from her skirt, Goldilocks decided to explore the cottage. Curious to see what was upstairs, she climbed the winding wooden stairs to the bedroom. Goldilocks pushed open the door and peered into the room. There she found 3 wooden beds, one great big bed, one medium-sized bed, and one tiny little bed. "How lovely," Goldilocks exclaimed, "and I am feeling a little sleepy now." Yawning, Goldilocks climbed into the great big bed and lay down. She pulled the covers up over her, plumped up the pillows, and curled up to go to sleep. But the big bed was really very big, and the mattress was truly very hard, and Goldilocks was not at all comfortable. She could not get to sleep. "No," Goldilocks said to herself, "this bed will not do." Next, Goldilocks tried the medium-sized bed. Again, she pulled the covers up over her, plumped up the pillows, and curled up to go to sleep. But the pillows were far too soft. So too was the mattress, and Goldilocks just could not get to sleep. No, she sighed, this bed will not do either. Sighing, Goldilocks walked over to the little bed. She climbed into it, plumped up the pillows, and pulled the covers over her. This time the bed was not too big, and the mattress was neither too hard nor too soft. In fact, the bed felt just right. Ah, sighed Goldilocks, this bed is perfect. And cozy, warm, and comfortable, she fell fast asleep. As Goldilocks lay fast asleep in the little bed, the three bears returned from their walk in the forest. Looking forward to their porridge breakfast, they pushed open the door to the cottage and stepped inside. As they did, they realized someone had been inside their home. Father Bear roared with a big booming voice, "Someone has been sitting in my chair." Mother Bear said in a quiet, gentle voice, "Someone has been sitting in my chair, too." Then Baby Bear cried with a squeaky little voice, "Someone has been sitting in my chair and they have broken it into pieces. Look!" All three bears looked in horror at Baby Bear's broken little chair, splintered into pieces on the floor. Who could have done such a thing? Next, Father Bear looked at his big bowl of porridge and saw the spoon in it. Banging his fist on the table, he cried in his big booming voice, "Someone has been eating my porridge." Mother Bear saw that her medium-sized bowl had a spoon in it. She whispered in her quiet, gentle voice, "Oh dear, someone has been eating my porridge too." Then Baby Bear cried with his squeaky little voice, "Someone has been eating my porridge too, and they have eaten it all up. Look!" All three bears stared in disbelief at Baby Bear's empty porridge bowl. Who could be so cruel that they would eat a baby's porridge? Wondering what kind of beast they would find, the three bears crept upstairs. Tentatively, Father Bear pushed open the door to the bedroom. Mother Bear huddled behind him. Baby Bear huddled behind Mother Bear. Then Father Bear peeked into the bedroom. In his big, booming voice, Father Bear cried, "Someone has been sleeping in my bed." Mother Bear saw that her bed, too, had the bedclothes turned back and that her pillows were crumpled. She whispered in her quiet, gentle voice, "Somebody has been sleeping in my bed, too." Then Baby Bear looked at his bed. It, too, was crumpled, but even worse, someone or something was beneath the bedclothes. With a gulp, Baby Bear squeaked, "Someone is sleeping in my bed and they are still there. Look!" Baby Bear squeaked so loudly that Goldilocks woke up with a start. As she rubbed her eyes, she saw three furry faces looking down at her in amazement. "Bears!" Goldilocks cried. "Help!" Terrified, Goldilocks threw off the bedclothes and leapt from Baby Bear's bed. She hurtled out of the bedroom, she flew down the winding wooden stairs, she raced past the shattered chair on the floor, fled past the porridge bowls, and ran straight through the doorway to the cottage. Goldilocks ran into the forest clearing and along the forest path. She ran and ran and ran right through the forest and all the way home, and the three bears never saw her again. And that is the end of the story. And this is the STEM activity that we are going to do, make a scale model. Would Baby Bear's bed really have been the right size for Goldilocks? Perhaps she should have done the math before trying out the beds. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a scale model of Goldilocks, or of the three bears' beds, to see if Goldilocks can fit in it. I picked this doll because one of our other dolls is missing an arm, and this is the one that's blonde. So for this, you want to use a smaller doll. It says about 4.5 inches. This doll is not quite there. She's not even quite 4 inches, but with her hair, she ends up being about 5.5 inches. And then you need pencil, a ruler. It says cardstock. We're just going to use construction paper. So the first thing that we're going to make is Papa Bear's bed. So his bed is 8 inches by 4 inches. That means it's a rectangle that is 8 inches long. So 0 to 8 inches long. And it's 4 inches wide. So 0 to 4. So I'm going to draw that and then I'm going to hold that up on the paper for you to see. So it says 8 inches by 4 inches. So what a scale model is, if somebody wanted to build the city of Pittsburgh out of, let's say, out of Legos or out of who knows what, anything really, you could just build it. But if you wanted it to be a miniature replica, so exactly the same as the actual city, only smaller, you would make a scale model. A map, if you use a map, like an actual paper map, not GPS, or even if you use it on the computer, a map is always to scale, because we could not show the distance from Pittsburgh to like New York City on a teeny tiny piece of paper the way that it actually is. It's miles and miles and miles. By car, it takes like 6.5 hours. By train, it takes like 8 hours to get there. They're very far apart and many miles apart. And there's no way we could like show that just on a piece of paper. So all maps are to scale. And that means that they take really, really, really big distances and give you the same equivalent, exactly the same, only way smaller. So you will notice if you look at a ruler, inches are spaced further apart than centimeters. This is called conversion. Centimeters are metric, inches are standard. We use standard in the United States. You could measure something and you could say it's 4 inches, but it's 10 centimeters. So conversion and scale work together to show us how you can take really, really big things and make them really small. Or similarly, if you wanted to make a larger than life size model of an ant. So we know that an ant is like super duper tiny, but if you wanted to make like a really big one, but you wanted the whole ant to be to scale, you would convert from smaller to bigger. When you're showing the distance from Pittsburgh to New York City on a map, you're taking bigger to smaller. So this is what we're going to show here, a scale model. Is Goldilocks really the perfect size for Baby Bear's bed, and how much bigger is Papa Bear's bed than Goldilocks? So anyway, this is a little crooked, my drawing, but it is 8 inches by 4 inches. So 8 goes the long way, 4 inches goes the short way. Because the sides are not all the same length, it's a rectangle, not a square. So I'm gonna cut this out. Papa Bear's bed. To make Mama Bear's bed, we are going to measure a rectangle that is 6 inches long and 3 inches wide. So 6 inches up and down, 3 inches across. I'm going to draw that and then I'm going to show it to you. So this is what Mama Bear's looks like when it's drawn. 6 inches down, 3 inches across. And this is hers cut out. You can see that Papa Bear's is much bigger than Mama Bear's. Mama Bear's could fit inside Papa Bear's. So I'll draw Baby Bear's and then I'm going to tell you one more thing about their conversion scale. So Baby Bear's is going to be 2 inches by 1 inch. So 2 inches down, 1 inch across. This is what Baby Bear's looks like cut out. So as you can see, Baby Bear's fits inside Mama Bear's, fits inside Papa Bear's. So here's the thing. This is asking us, would Baby Bear's bed really have been the right size for Goldilocks? Because we're making a scale model, here's the information that they used to tell us what size we needed to cut these. An adult male grizzly bear is 8 feet long. So people are measured in feet. A lot of people are between 5 and 6 foot tall, and then people that we consider really tall people are like 6 foot tall and taller. So an adult male grizzly bear is 8 feet. So he is 8 feet. He's 2 feet longer than like somebody that we consider a tall person. An adult female grizzly bear is 6 feet long. So an adult female grizzly bear is about as long as a tall person. And a 10-year-old girl, a baby grizzly bear is 2 feet long. 2 feet is 2 rulers. So a baby bear is 2 rulers long. And then a 10-year-old girl is about 4.5 feet tall. So that's why we were using hers. We'll just say she's a little short for her age for being 10. Her hair makes up for it. So you need to know all those things to make a scale model. You need to know how big something is in the real world before you can scale it down on paper or in a model. So the scale that they use is that 1 inch represents 1 foot. So the reason that we made Papa Bear's bed 8 feet long by 4 feet wide is that an adult male grizzly bear is 8 feet long. 1 foot is equal to 1 inch in our drawing. So although we only have 8 inches in front of us, it is supposed to represent 8 feet. The same for mamas, because mama bears are 6 feet long. We have 6 inches. That makes for that. And baby bears are 2 feet long, 2 inches. 10-year-old girls are about 4.5 feet tall, and she's about 4.5 inches tall. Little bit less, but you get the point. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna hold Goldilocks up and find out which bed really fits her best. I'm gonna show you all these again: papas, mamas, and babies. Now, before I even hold up the doll, which bed do you think is gonna fit her best? Take a minute and think about it. Which one do you think is gonna fit this doll the best? So here we have Papa Bear's bed, and we have Goldilocks coming up, hopping into Papa Bear's bed. As you can see, she definitely fits in this bed, and she fits in it pretty well, but there's a lot of empty space around her. So she does fit in that bed, but is it the best fit? The next one is Mama Bear's. So let's put her in Mama Bear's bed. She fits in Mama Bear's bed, and minus her hair, which is a little funny, but she fits, and there's way less space around her in Mama Bear's bed. And last, we have Baby Bear's bed. Do you think she's even going to fit in Baby Bear's bed? She could sit on Baby Bear's bed. She could use Baby Bear's bed as a pillow. So, which bed does she fit in the best? The answer would be Mama Bear's bed. There's not too much extra space, and she can't use it as a pillow. So we found out that Goldilocks fits best in Mama Bear's bed. And how you can figure out, there is a math equation that can help you figure out which bed she would fit in best. It's 8 feet plus 6 feet plus 2 feet, which are the lengths of all the beds. Or, okay, for feet, that's in real life. So 8 feet plus 6 feet plus 2 feet is the length of all 3 bears in real life, minus 4.5 feet, which would be Goldilocks. So 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 6 is 16. So 16 minus 4.5, I have to do math in my head, ready? 16 minus 4.5 is 11.5. As Goldilocks is 3.5 feet shorter than Father Bear, 1.5 feet shorter than Mother Bear, and 2.5 feet taller than Baby Bear. Goldilocks is 11.5 feet shorter than the combined height of all 3 bears. For the 2.5 feet taller, that means she's too big to fit in his bed. So that means his bed is already out. As we can tell, she could use this bed as a pillow. The smaller of the two numbers of the ones that are bigger than her is 1.5 feet, meaning she could fit better in that bed with less extra room. So hopefully you enjoyed this fairy tale stem. This is our last fairy tale stem that we're gonna do, but it's kind of fun. There is one more book like this, it's Jack and the Beanstalk. Maybe we will save that for when we can all be back together again. So hopefully you are enjoying your summer and enjoying summer reading and all our summer reading themed activities. And we can't wait to see you back at the library soon. Have a great day.